I'm Ryan Green.
And I'm Zach Taylor.
And this is Commander Social. All right, this week we're going to be talking about my new deck. It's blue-white Planeswalkers, a.k.a. Azorius Superfriends, and it's going to be a deck tech. But before we do all that, we want to make sure to thank you out there in audience land. We really appreciate you tuning in and checking us out. And if you are checking out the YouTube video, make sure to hit that like button below, and also you can subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. All right, so Zach, tell them where they can find us.
If you're looking for us on Twitter together, you can hit us up at Commander Social. If you want to hit up me individually, I'm at Z4CK38.
And individually, I'm at Green Geek. All right, so there you go. That's the intro here.
Yep.
Before we jump, we've got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about this episode.
Lots of things.
Yeah, the first thing is it's mail day. Woo! All right, got a package here from Jumbo Commander, DJ over there. Thank you so much for that. The perks of being a patron, that's how we do it here. So let's open it up and see what we got. It's, and I've had this for a couple of days, and I wanted to open it on air, and so it's like, oh, what is it? Like the anticipation has been building.
I've definitely been wondering. I had an idea. I was like, maybe we should steam open the envelope.
But that would ruin the fun. Okay, so what do we got here? All right. Oh, it's taped. Okay. Ooh, snap. Oh, that is, he's got okay, hold on. So, oh, wow. Okay, cool. This is
the 2 cards?
Yeah, this is tight. Okay.
Nice.
So check
it. Foil?
No, but check it out. So we got a command tower here, and DJ's got the shadow signature going on there, right? So command tower on this side and Mystic Remora on that side. And you know what? That Remora might just be going into this deck we're going to talk about today.
Those are 2 super playables.
How appropriate. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put both of these in the deck today. Thank you, DJ, so much. Thank you. That is great.
Pretty sweet.
All right, so, Zach, what's been going on in your personal life?
Not much. I maybe did a little bit of grooming on my facial hair.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I should know.
I heard that, that ironic mustaches weren't a thing that could be done, but I feel like I'm doing it pretty well. It's ironic, and I look good. Pulling
it off.
Yep, so Dana... Sorry, man. I guess you're just going to be jealous of this mustache. In other news, Ryan and I went and saw Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
What was that, Tuesday?
Yep.
I think it was Tuesday, yeah. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't really listened to a lot of his songs since, I was younger, and I didn't really know what to expect, but he put on a really good show. It was a lot of fun.
Man, Weird Al puts on the best show. And actually, if you follow our Instagram or our Twitter, you probably saw some photos from that.
Yep.
This show was really cool, right? Because it was Weird Al, but it was the Strings Attached tour because he's there with a whole symphony orchestra.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. They did those melodies before from movie scores, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, one of my personal favorites, the Superman theme. Oh, so good.
Yeah, man, they got Mission Impossible and Star Wars for me, and then at the end they had some people come out dressed up as stormtroopers and Darth Vader. He sang a couple of his Star Wars songs.
The saga begins, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, man, they had a remote control robot R2-D2 on stage.
Yeah, that was real tight.
Oh, it was so good. And just even things like Amish Paradise, hearing the whole orchestra sound was so cool.
Yeah, and I love that they did the costume changes. They had the Amish costumes there, and then for that one song they had the Devo costumes.
Dare to be stupid, dare to be stupid.
Yep.
Take some wooden nickels, look for Mr. Goodbar. Get your mojo working now. I'll show you how. Dare to be stupid.
So what's been going on with you, man?
Oh, all right. Yeah. How do I follow up that? Okay. So before we get into the hashtag MTG Dad moment, I wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to our friend Lee.
Yep.
Thank you. He is a fan of the show. He listens every week. And it was a big birthday for him today. And I was at his birthday party earlier, and we went to a local arcade, and calling it an arcade feels like a little bit of a disservice. This place was crazy. There's an indoor, go-kart track.
So did they take over that building that was next to him?
Yeah. It's huge. It was huge. And every pinball game you could think of, every arcade game had such a blast. I actually took my kids there and got to see a bunch of people that I haven't seen in a long, long time, right? Like everybody came out because it was his 40th. So happy birthday, Lee.
Happy birthday, dude.
All right. So this next one here is for my daughter. And this one's pretty funny. So I'll set it up a little bit. My daughter kind of has trouble going to bed. She doesn't want to go to sleep. It's that thing where it's like, when you're a kid, you get to take naps, and when you're an adult, you wish you could take naps, and she just doesn't want to go to bed. So we've been trying this thing where we get her in her room like right around 8 and we let her play for about half an hour. And then I come in and I say, it's 8:30. You need to lay down and you can't get up, and, only if you need to go potty or whatever. And so, but she uses this on her brother. So like if he's like trying to play with her Legos or has a toy that she wants, she'll tell him, it's 8:30. So like she's like, yeah, it's 8:30, buddy. You have to give that back to me now. And it's pretty hilarious.
Because he's like, what's 8:30?
Yeah, no, well, what are you talking about? I don't know. It just was really cute, and I don't know. It's just that the childlike innocence, just things that like that's what it is. But she'll understand later, and when she sees this, it'll be memories. So I don't know. It's very cute.
So that brings us to thanking Mike Condon, like we do every episode.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. All right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So that's going to move us on into games we played this week, because we got to play some Commander this week.
We did.
What?
Finally.
It's been a couple weeks. So actually, we went to our local game store, the Mothership.
Yep.
And this was on Thursday night, and that is Commander night. And Zach, you and I didn't really get to play together.
No, we didn't. We ended up, there's always a lot of people, and so there were a couple of tables that were like, oh, we're looking for a fourth person. So we joined in those games. I got like 2 games in. Would you get like 3?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by game.
Yeah.
A couple were pretty quick.
Yeah, same for mine. My first game, there was a guy playing a Lord Windgrace deck, and he kept recurring Wasteland and Strip Mine and just destroying lands. And I'm just like, well, okay, I guess I'm not going to play Magic for this game. And then that guy didn't end up even winning. The guy
you didn't even have the decency to win after that?
No.
Oh, man, come on.
Like, I was down to like we got to like maybe turn 7 or 8 maybe, and I had like 2 forced in play.
Spoiler alert, when I talk about the games I played, a couple of them didn't make it to turn 7.
So this guy, he also played Sourven Sandy, so like no cards in hand. But it ended up the guy next to me, and V like Voltroned up his commander, and
V is for Voltron.
Yeah, it is. So he hit me for 20 plus, hit the other guy for 20 plus, and then the guy catty cornered to me.
The guy in the sweet spot.
Yeah, he like killed himself with some card. I'm not sure what. He like whiffed on it and it killed him. I don't even know what it was. He like had to like flip cards over. It was a black card. I don't know. It was some sort of combo thing that just didn't work out for him.
Well, that will happen.
Yeah, I know about that. Game 2 was a little bit better. I got by the way, I finally got to play my Tatiova Infect deck as
snap,
as teched on a couple of weeks ago on Commander's Brew.
Oh yeah, that was a great episode.
I enjoyed it.
I listened. I did, and I tweeted about it because that's how I do.
Yeah. So I got Inkmoth in play, and I managed to get a token counter on everybody. And then right as I hit the last,
you mean a poison counter?
Poison counter. My bad. The guy to my left was like, oh, I know what you're doing. I was like, shh. He's like, you're playing. This is an infect deck, isn't it? I was like, shh.
Doom.
Right. And so then the next turn after that, I managed to get. I played a Karn's Bastion. Everyone was like, oh, Karn's Bastion, proliferate, huh? Like, that's going to take a while. And then I was like, no, I won't concede 1 Muse.
Ooh, that's nice.
He Cyclonic Rifted my Seaborn Muse. I was like, oh. Then he recurred the Cyclonic Rift. I was like, yes. I was like, I got to wait for it. And then he Cyclonic Rifted because some other guy played something. I was like, yes, home free. But that guy ended up comboing out pretty hard, too. It was a pretty complicated combo. Read the show notes if you want to, know about it, because I don't want to go into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say that. So the meta at our store on Thursday nights, the Mothership there is, it's pretty competitive. And in fact, actually, we'll jump into the games I played this week. I played 3 of them. And the first one, everybody was like, I had my new deck, right? The deck we're going to tech this episode. Yeah. And I was like, well, obviously I'm going to play that because I want to get some experience before we talk about it on camera.
Sure.
And so, it's not necessarily the fastest of deck, and it's definitely not the most competitive. I definitely would not consider it CEDH. But some of the stuff we play up there is, and so, one guy described their deck as like, oh, it's a turn 3 deck, and I'm like, turn 3? Have I even cast anything by then?
Right. Like
maybe a mana rock.
I don't think I've ever built a turn 3 deck.
But anyway, so first game, there was somebody there with the new Urza, High Lord Artificer, and comboed off on turn 4. So, yep, infinite mana, and like, okay, there's a win. All right. And then we played another game, same 4 folks. And there's a player comboed off on turn 5. So that's a thing. Like, that could definitely happen. Looked real, I'm going to be honest, like, it looked real fun. Like, I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that. But, like, we didn't play out the combo. It's just like, okay, cool, I have infinite mana, and, like, now I have Urza's ability, and it was like, okay, cool, that's a win. Like, yeah. You don't get to actually, like, see it do the thing.
Right.
And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just something to say. So, okay. So, game 3 was an actual game, and it went past turn 5.
Wow.
And woo! But anyway, so everybody kind of like pulled back and played like their lower powered decks, and actually the Urza player went off to go do the combo thing elsewhere. But I was playing with Ivan, and he was playing an Edgar Markov deck, and I was playing.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah, it was cool. And I was playing with Simon, and he was playing an Dragon deck. And I was playing with Michael, he's old school. Like, he's like, yeah, I've been playing since 94. So
yeah,
like, cool.
I saw he has one of those old school, like, duelist, like, abacus counters. And I was like, man, I used to have one of those. I wish I still had it.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Those are so sweet. Those things are like $100+.
Well, I have one somewhere.
Find it.
I need to. But anyway, yeah. So Michael was playing Riku of the Two Reflections. And it was basically like, I'm going to make big giant creatures and copy them. And it was cool. And Ilharg the Raised Boar showed up, and it was pretty sweet. But so I'm going to tell the story of this game because it's actually kind of interesting. So basically the vampire player was beating down on the Riku player, right? So Ivan was beating down on Michael pretty hard, and Michael's getting pretty low on life, and he's like, yeah, I'm probably going to go out. And he's like, I don't know what I should do. And then he was like, okay, well, this feels mean, but like, let's do a thing. And he cast Rite of Replication on Woodfall Primus. And basically that was like, I get to destroy 5 lands, basically. So he left the vampire player with 1 plains in play. And
nice.
Now I will say the vampire player had Azor's Gateway in play and had been using it, discarding cards. So eventually, Ivan did get Azor's Gateway to flip. Right. And so on the backside of that, it like taps to add a single color of mana for each life point you have. Right. So it was like, oh, I tap for 43 black mana or whatever. Right. And so basically what happened is Michael was so low playing Riku that Dragon took him out. And then Ivan played a Forerunner of the Legion and searched up a card called Mirror Entity. And this basically just lets you spend X and maybe a white, I think. I'm not sure, but it's probably over here or here.
Or here.
I think it's here.
It's somewhere.
It's that way. The beach is that way. But anyway, so he looked at me, and I had previously with the deck I had Contagion Engine in hand, and I had Wrath Capuchin in place. So I was like, you're not going to attack me, right? Like, I don't need to worry about that. Like, you activating like the mirror entities on the stack. Like, we're good? And he's like, yeah, we're good. So I was like, okay. So then he like tapped the Azor's Gateway, the flipped Azor's Gateway, turned everything into like a 40-40 and took out the Dragon player, right? And my deck really kind of hadn't done a whole lot this game. But I guess I essentially politicked my way into a win because after he took out the Dragon, it was just one-on-one, heads up play. And I played Karn Liberated and exiled the flipped Azor's Gateway, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, now I lose, right? Like, he's like, okay, I can't really do anything. So I did win, but, it wasn't so much the deck as it was like just kind of navigating the political waters, I mean,
I feel like those are the best wins. Those are my favorite wins.
Well, those are the kind I get a lot.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, so that was the games we played this week.
Yep.
And they were fun, and like I was glad I got to like take the deck for a spin before we told you at home all about it. And that's what we're gonna do. But before we do that, it's time for a little segment we like to call
Commander Rules.
Okay, so it's that time. We're going to talk about some rules, the comprehensive rules of Magic the Gathering, and I'm going to tell you all about them, Zach, and you're going to let me know how they hit your ear, right?
All right.
Okay, so this week's randomly generated rule is 408.2, and it says, emblems may be created in the command zone. See Rule 113, emblems. And that's not really a whole lot, so I figured we might like go talk a little bit about some of the emblem rules.
Okay, yeah, because
yeah, cool, emblems.
Yeah, like I know they can't like be destroyed or interacted with at all. And surprise, surprise, they go in what we have now learned from this segment is the catch-all box, the command zone.
Yeah, the command zone, the junk drawer of Magic zones.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about Rule 113. And I'm going to read the third one out here because I just thought it was interesting. Okay, so it's a 113.3 says, an emblem has no characteristics other than the abilities defined by the effect that created it. In particular, an emblem has no name, no types, no mana cost, and no color. Did you know all that?
Yeah.
All right, I didn't. I mean, I knew, like, I thought it would be called, like, Teferi emblem or you know, Chandra emblem or something, right?
I just assume because, like, the cards always say, create an emblem. Like, I know, like, there can be multiple emblems that do different things, but I just always assumed it was, like, the emblem.
Well, and you can have multiples of the same emblem,
one,
too. Yeah, for sure. Actually, there's like I think, is there a Sorin or a Gideon? There's a Gideon for sure that just, like, 0 makes an emblem, right? So, like, but it's like you can't lose the game as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker, I think.
Gideon Tribal.
Gideon it in your deck.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Emblems are interesting because, like, I don't know. Like, it's definitely a win condition because really,
definitely
the first emblem that I ever like really dealt with in play was I was with Sun's Champion, where was it like everything gets like +1/+1 and like some other stuff.
Agree.
Yeah, there's gonna be a picture.
More work for you in post.
No, it's fine. But like, yeah, like it just seems weird to me that you can't interact with them. There's nothing you can do about it, right? It's just a win base most of the time. I've read some stuff though, some speculation that in the nearest future maybe we'll get to interact with those, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if you could just be like, I'll copy an emblem.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Right? Like I can't delete it or I can't get rid of it, but I can copy it. That spell would have to be really pricey and it'd be so niche. I don't know.
Yeah, that I feel like that's going to be like 8 and 4 blue,
No.
and maybe like 1 like diamond colorless just for
the giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal, right? Like you have to work so hard to get an emblem.
You
like,
do,
and you don't want somebody to just like copy it like that. I don't know. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that feels bad. Although with this new proliferation thing, you don't have to work that hard for them anymore.
Well, yeah, okay, and so that's gonna bring us right on into the main topic. We're gonna be talking about an Azorius Superfriends deck here, and the plan is to win through emblems.
Is it emblems or is it Elixir of Immortality?
I don't think that's in the deck.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, let's emblem some planeswalkers. Let's win via planeswalkers. That's the plan, right?
I like it.
Okay, so this Azorius Superfriends deck is helmed by 1 Wrath Capuchin Ship's Mage, and that is 2 white blue for a 3/3 flyer with flash, and it says you may cast historic spells as though they had flash. And
what's a historic spell, Ryan?
an historic spell is an artifact, a legendary, or a saga? Did I get there?
I'm pretty sure.
I think I got there.
I thought sagas were legendary too.
I don't think they are, actually. Maybe some of them are, but I think in general they aren't. But the deal here is planeswalkers are now legendary, right?
Yep.
That's recent, and we're going to take advantage of that with Wrath, and we're going to be flashing them in. And I know a lot of people might think, hey, why are you like, you flash it in on somebody's turn and you can't use it, right?
Yeah.
But here's the deal. It's about mana efficiency, right? So you flash in that planeswalker on the person to your right's end of turn, then you can untap, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll board wipe.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, because that's the deal with Planeswalkers. It's like, oh, I really want to cast them into an empty board, and Wrath lets you do that, right? Like just you make your own empty board after the Planeswalker hits, and that's pretty sweet. And actually, there's a board wipe in this deck that's like super sweet.
Is it Time Wipe?
It is Time Wipe. You know, sometimes like you got like some bugs on your windshield. You go squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
Right.
You gotta like take those bugs out. I don't know, but Time Wipe is like what, 2 white, blue.
I believe that's correct.
It's a sorcery, and you get to return a creature to your hand and then destroy all creatures. So Wrath is kind of important to the deck, and it's kind of the perfect board wipe in this deck because you get to save the one creature you care about and then kill all the other creatures. So pretty sweet.
Sounds sweet. How many creatures are you running in this deck?
A grand total of 5. I guess 6 if you count the commander. So yeah, pretty creature light in this deck. I didn't count Jace Vryn's Prodigy as a creature because it's really in there to be a Planeswalker.
Yeah,
I put it under the Planeswalker list.
That's
You know,
true.
your mileage may vary. But okay, so let's talk about some. So that's kind of like the idea behind the deck is we're gonna flash in Planeswalkers, keep the board clear, and get some value, right?
Yeah.
And you may be thinking like, why white blue? And I was like, well, you know, green's too easy, and I do love casting things at instant speed, and particularly there's a bunch of really cool white and blue Planeswalkers. You know, you got your Jaces, your Johnnies, your
Gideons.
your Gideons, your Teferis, like my favorite. I love Teferi. And this deck actually runs, let's see, 2 Gideons, 4 Jaces, 2 Karns, 2 Narsets, 3 Teferis, 2 Tezzerets, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree. I mean,
Yeah.
a pair of Ugins. So yeah, it's got like, and you know, you think, oh well, just like blue white, but I got 23 Planeswalkers in there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And like they're good ones. Like they're real good ones. Okay. So I want to give a special shout out to our intern, T.H. Elliott. He helped me make this deck. You know, we worked on it together. And when Elliott makes a deck, or TH makes a deck, if you will, he likes to do a lot of hypergeometric distribution calculations. And I know those are big math words.
Yeah, no, like when I was looking at the spreadsheet, I saw it say hypergeometric. It was like a hypergeometric, and then like some a parenthesis, and like it was a function, right? He's feeding all these numbers, and I was like, what is that? So I Google searched that, and I was reading it, and I was like, and my eyes just kind of glazed over, and I was like, math. I got the abacus out, and I was like, nope, doesn't add up. I'm out.
So it's actually it's pretty simple. I'm gonna boil it down into a short little thing here.
Okay.
And you tell me if it makes sense. Okay. So in probability theory and statistics, hypergeometric distribution is the discrete possibility of success from a random draw. Basically, a random draw without replacement from a finite population size. And what that means is you're drawing cards. Those are the discrete random draws.
Okay.
And the finite population is your deck. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't really exactly know like what the formula is, but I know it's calculatable, and like you said, it's a function in spreadsheets, so pretty easy to do. And so the number we came up with is with 20 Planeswalkers in the deck, and it's a roughly 80% chance to draw one on turn 1, and you know it goes up from there, right? Like by turn 5, 6, it's higher than 80%. So that was kind of where we were going with it, and hopefully get some ramp going, get some protection. And that's kind of the idea of the deck. So I did want to say that like in one of the games that I played at Mothership, I could have played Karn Liberated and ultimated him in the same turn.
And you didn't do this, why?
Because Karn's ultimate is brutal. It starts the game over, and you get to start with stuff in play that you've exiled with Karn. But I wouldn't have exiled anything. So it would have started the game over, and I was like, bruh.
Yeah, that feels bad.
It would have started the game over with only 2 people, but I was also playing against the vampire deck, and I was like, well, that's a pretty aggressive deck. I probably don't want to go one-on-one against that.
No, I wouldn't.
But the idea here is that the deck can do powerful things like that, right? So like basically what I would have done is flashed Karn, liberated into play at my opponent's end step, and then played Contagion Engine, and then proliferate, and then Deep Glowskate to double the counters on Con.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the kind of power that you're working with in this Azorius Superfriends deck. Like, there are some degenerate things you can do, but they're pretty late in the game and they take a lot of mana to do it. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about, there's one other story here. So, in one of the games where I was comboed out, I almost was able to, like, if I'd gotten another turn, I would have been able to, like, EOT Narset Transcendent, and then on my turn, Deep Glowskate and Ultimate Narset, and her emblem for the ultimate is your opponents can't cast non-creature spells.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I probably win that game if that happens, right? Because that's pretty hard to fight back from. So I don't know. Like, that's just the general idea of the deck. It's going to be doing some Planeswalker shenanigans. Okay, so
are you playing the shenanigans card?
No, because that's a red card.
And it's a shenanigan.
Oh, so because it's a shenanigan, you can just break the fundamental rules of Commander?
Yes. Also, what's that place that they like to go to? Have dinner? All that stuff on the wall?
Shenanigans?
Yes.
All right. So the next step is one of the things, like, we've discussed previously, is the slot theory, or basically like kind of dividing the slots in your deck of like what you want to put in it. And that's kind of how we're going to do this deck tech.
Yep.
And the first thing was, Planeswalkers, and we said about 20 of them. And for the full deck list, they can go to the show notes, right?
Yes, there's a link to Architect. So it has pictures. It's sweet.
We're going to use it here in a little bit when we talk about some of the individual cards. But so in the interaction category, we have 10 cards and 6 of them are board wipes.
Got there.
Because I'm only playing 5 creatures, and 2 of the creatures I'm playing, I want them to die. And the other ones already did their job by the time they came into play. So I really have no problem just killing all the creatures all the time, always. In this deck, anyway.
Seems good.
And there's one other little gem here. It's a card called Humility. It's 1 white, and it basically says all creatures are 1/1s with no abilities.
Love it.
Pretty good when you're not running a lot of creatures, and
you're also running Contagion Engine.
Yep. And basically what Humility does is it says kill this or there are no creatures. And I don't really have any creatures because I'm doing the Planeswalker thing.
I like it.
Okay, so the next category that we're going to talk about is the synergy category.
Synergy.
Yeah, and if you're in the corporate world, synergy, is something you're well aware of, right? You gotta think outside the box.
Yeah, synergize your products.
You gotta have that paradigm shift.
Yeah,
which is also a Magic card.
Is it?
It is.
Oh man! So I was going through some cards last night. We'll say it was last night.
Indeed, it was.
And I found your signature card, the Puppet Master.
Oh, nice. The blue aura?
Sure. I remember it was blue and had dude with some puppets.
Indeed. Yeah, great card.
So
really not playable.
No, not at all. I did think about framing it. Oh, well, what I was going to do is I already have that picture of you beside my bed. So I was going to frame it and put it, on the other nightstand. Because I have a nightstand on each side of my bed.
Yeah. And you know what? I can learn from DJ and try to get a shadow signature.
Yeah,
on the Puppet Master,
right?
Frame it with the picture. Yeah,
I'm pretty impressed by that. The shadow signature. I kind of want to try that. Maybe someone wants me to sign a card.
Zach, can you sign my Goblin Bombardment, please?
Yes, I can. So next we've got the synergy cards, the cards that do the thing together. They do the things together. So the first one is, you can't have a Super Friends deck without the Chain Veil. This card, super good. Lets you activate your Planeswalkers twice in a turn. Yeah,
there's a minor downside of taking some damage if you don't activate a Planeswalker ability, but
whatever.
We're all doing that. I mean, there's 23 of them in the deck. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So the Chain Veil is 4 for a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, at the beginning of your instep, if you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life. Well, if you don't do it, you have 40 life. 2 life ain't a big deal.
Well, and if you're not, you're probably losing anyway.
Yeah, it's
that
true.
2 damage is not going to be the thing that pushes you over the edge.
It's true.
Probably.
Hopefully. Maybe. So for 4, you can tap it. For each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn. So that's pretty sweet. I definitely like doing things twice that I'm usually only allowed to do once.
You know, and the cool thing here is this is a legendary artifact, so like Raph can doubly flash this in. And the cool part about that is like if you have a planeswalker, you just like cast it into an empty board, and then you cast this in a turn, and then you get to use it on your turn. Like you can kind of ultimate stuff when people aren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of be like, oh no, I've got another turn to deal with that.
Surprise, no you don't.
Yeah, so surprise, ultimate.
Yep. So we have some other things. Deep Glowskate.
The aforementioned Deep Glowskate.
Yeah, so we mentioned that earlier. Man, I love that card. Just double the counters twice on something. Like, I need to get another one.
Well, it's 4 and a blue for a 3/3 fish. That when it comes into play, it doubles the number of counters on any number of target permanents. I think I got there. I'm pretty sure I did.
I'm pretty sure you did too. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep. Double number of each kind of counter on any number of target permanents. So for 5 mana, all your planeswalkers, you double their loyalty.
This is basically the blue doubling season, but it's a one shot, and so you kind of have to pick your time, your moment to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, usually any kind of good planeswalker, if you can ultimate it, like that's enough to win a game.
Yeah,
usually.
for sure. I'm kind of surprised you're not running Eldrazi Displacer with this guy. Are you?
No, but like that would be sweet, and I totally could.
Yeah, I'm doing it in my Tezzeret deck. For those of you who don't know, Eldrazi Displacer lets you exile something, and then it comes back into play immediately. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you basically got to re-trigger those enter the battlefield abilities. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. And honestly, like, if you can set this up, like, if you have a ton of mana, you've ramped decently, and you've wiped the board a couple of times, and then, like, you cast Wrath, and then next turn, you're just like, end of turn, Planeswalker, on my turn, Deep Glowskate, and, like, get 2 ultimates. Like, I mean, that's a thing that could reasonably happen, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely one of the reasons I picked Azorius was because of Deep Glowskate. Not a lot of ways to find it in blue-white. There's a couple, but they're pretty inefficient. So I'm not really going that route. It's just if you get the bubbling season, bubbling fish, it's good.
Yep. So you've got the dual rectors, the Academy Rector and the Arena Rector.
Oh, so many rectors.
Right. Academy Rector's 3 and a white for a creature cleric, 1/2. When Academy Rector is put into a graveyard from play, you may remove Academy Rector from the game. If you do, search your library for an enchantment card, put that card into play, then shuffle your library. Man, I wish I still had some Academy Rectors. Card's so hot.
Rector is the business.
Actually,
both of them are.
Yeah, they really are. The other one, Arena Rector, same cost, 3 and a white for a 1/2. Shocker.
Also a human cleric.
Yep. So cleric tribal. When Arena Rector dies, you may exile it. If you do, search your library for a planeswalker and put it in the battlefield and shuffle your library. So, with that, you can go get whatever planeswalker you want. And with Academy Rector, you can get enchantments. And
I did put quite a few spicy enchantments in this deck, shall we say. I put one of your favorites.
Inexorable Tide?
Well, that is definitely one of them. I was thinking of that one, yeah.
Omniscience.
Yeah, getting Omniscient up in here.
Yep, do love that card. For those of you who don't know, it's 7/3 blue, and basically says you can cast cards from your hand for free.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's real good.
It's even better when you don't pay 10 for it, you just pay 4.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like Academy Rector.
Yep.
Seems good.
You definitely have some of the... Are you running... You're not running Propaganda.
No, because here's the thing. With Propaganda and Ghostly Prison, they only have to pay the tax if they're attacking you. If they attack your planeswalkers, it's free.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And so I was like, well, these aren't that great in here, but there is one in here.
Yeah, Spirit of Safety is real good. Creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control unless they're control plays X for each other of those creatures where X is the number of enchantments you control. And it's 4 and a white. That card's pretty good. I like it. I just and I love enchantments. I run a lot of them, but like it's never really worked as well as Ghostly Prison or Propaganda for me.
Well, yeah, and it's more expensive, right? But you restrictions breed creativity. And if you're going to be playing blue-white and you're going to have a bunch of planeswalkers, Sphere Safety gets it done, even if it is more expensive. This next one's a spicy meatball.
Man, this one, I've never seen this. This is cool. It's only $4 or $5 and you get one of these. It's Mishin. Is that right? Sure. The Mind Cage. 4 and 3 blue. Legendary enchantment. Ooh, legendary. What does that mean? You can cast it with Flash with Wrath out.
That's right.
Yeah. So all creatures get -X, -0, where X is the number of cards in your hand. And I know how Ryan plays Magic, and he's always got 7 in the grip, 6 or 7.
Oh, bunch. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If you can reliably get creatures to have -2 or -3, that's enough to stop a lot of things going your Planeswalker's way. And the fact that we can get it with Academy Rector is really sweet.
Yeah.
And like you said, the fact that we can flash it in is really cool too. And, you can always draw it too. So, there's a lot. Like, what else is on here?
Let's see. Mystic Barrier.
Oh, this card is sweet.
It is. It's only 35 cents, which is amazing. It's 4 and a white for an enchantment. When Mystic Barrier enters the battlefield, or at the beginning of your upkeep, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the opponent seated nearest to him in the last chosen direction, and Planeswalker is controlled by that player.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
So here's the deal, right? The reason why Planeswalkers are bad in Commander is that everybody can attack them. It's a multiplayer game. And so, in Standard or, Legacy or whatever, you can reasonably well protect your Planeswalkers by having some chump blockers and stuff.
Yeah.
And that doesn't quite cut it in Commander. But here's the deal. Mystic Barrier actually kind of turns it into one-on-one play, right? Because you're like, oh, well, I'll pick the person that doesn't have the best army, and they're the only ones that can attack my Planeswalkers. And that's big game. Like, that's huge. So I think this is, pretty much an auto-include in any sort of Super Friends deck that has white in it. And it's definitely a really good way to protect your walkers. And I am really excited to get this into play. And my opponents probably won't be. I'm probably going to get that grown.
I definitely want to put that into Tezzeret now. Where were you with this card when I was building Tezzeret?
Well, that was your deck, not mine. I gotta save some of the juicy bits for my decks.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely just slotting in all your tech from this deck into Tezzeret.
Also, I have an extra one of these you could just have.
Sweet. 35 cents saved.
Woo! Got there. So what else is on the list?
I think the Attention Sphere, everyone knows what that does.
Yeah, no, we don't have to talk about that.
Oath of Teferi, that does something.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one.
So it's 3 white-blue, legendary enchantment. Man, all these are legendaries. It's like you did that on purpose, maybe.
I did.
I know. When Oath of Teferi enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control. Return to the battlefield.
Glowskate?
Yep. Under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. You may activate the loyalty abilities of Planeswalkers you control twice each turn, rather only than once. Yeah, that's like double good, double the fun.
It's really good in this deck. It's like Chain Veil, but you don't have to pay for it every turn.
Yeah.
And you get to bounce something. And here's the deal, right? Like, you can play a Planeswalker, minus it. It survives back to your turn. You can play Oath of Teferi, blink it out. It'll come back with full starting loyalty. So, and that's worst case, right?
Yeah.
Worst case, you have no Planeswalkers in play. And that can happen too.
Yeah. With Wrath out, man, somebody's attacking something and you're like, nope. Over the Teferi, get out. Poof.
Yeah, or save your Wrath from a Wrath or something. You can do that, right? Because it comes into play at end step. So yeah, this card's sweet. Honestly, this is another of the reasons I decided to go Azorius for the Super Friends list here. So yeah, pretty decent list of support cards you can go get with Academy Rector. Obviously, with Arena Rector, you can just go get any of the Planeswalkers that you want. Karn, Ugin, Jace.
I feel like you're running a suboptimal number of Jaces.
Oh, because I have less than 8 or something?
Yeah.
Some of the Jaces I'm like, oh, okay, this could be good, but I don't know. I have it boiled down pretty hard. The original number of Planeswalkers I had was 36. I had to trim quite a bit, and a couple of them were Jaces that got trimmed. So
let's see what Planeswalkers. Okay, you have Architect of Thought. I'll allow it. That's the one I thought you didn't have. That's my favorite one.
Oh, that's your favorite?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
They're all my favorite. I love all my children equally.
I love all my Jaces equally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about that Jace. Okay, so
I wonder if I could get a chain made just with Jace cards on it.
Yeah. It's like the Mind Sculptor art like across the thing. Like that'd be sweet.
Oh man, that would be sweet.
Okay, so the next category is ramp. Every commander deck should have it, or most commander decks should have it. And here in blue-white, our options are pretty limited. It's pretty standard stock stuff here.
Mana Rocks.
Yeah, Soul Ring, Signet,
Felwar
Stone, Thought Vessel. Got a little spicy, threw a Mana Vault in there, because...
You got Mana Crypt in there?
No, because I only have one, and that's currently in my Rush Me Eternity's Crafter deck. And I don't know, at some point, maybe I'll, have like a binder system. But for now, I would just put it in every deck, and I don't want it in every deck because it's kind of like pushes the power level up just a little too much, and this way, it kind of forces me to like move it around, and there, it's only some of my decks are degenerate.
Yeah,
I guess
it's really not the decks that are degenerate so much as the player.
Indeed,
true story.
I'll take it. You know what? Degenerate is the name of the game here. Okay, so we're gonna keep cruising on into this Super Friends. Azorius style deck tech, and we're going to go right on into the land section here. And the first one I want you to talk about.
It's Karn's Bastion.
It is Karn's Bastion.
I do love Karn's Bastion. It's a land. It comes into play untapped. You can pay 4, tap it, and you proliferate.
Seems good.
Yep.
Right? Now, honestly, I don't know how great it is in here. I haven't gotten a chance to play with it yet. I think it's pretty much perfect and the kind of thing you want, but it's like, again, I think it's really for that surprise ultimate. Like if you've got your defenses set up and people are like, okay, I have another turn to deal with that before it ultimates, and you're like, nope, just kidding.
Surprise. Yeah, like that's how I think of playing it. Like, and especially in blue-white, right? You put down Karn's Bastion, you hold up mana, you make them think you're holding a counter or removal or something, right? Because you're in blue-white, and then at the end of the person to your right's turn, you're just like, oh, surprise, guys, Karn's Bastion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Like, it was there.
But the question is, how close were they paying attention?
Well, or also, like, you could just wait and lay it on your turn and then do it. So, yeah, I think that's good. Up next, we've got another kind of a utility land here called Core Haven. This is a staple in any of my white decks. And it is a legendary land, and you can tap to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, or you can spend 1 and a white to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target attacking creature this turn.
That is pretty sweet.
So it's kind of like Maze of Ith that can actually tap for mana, and Maze of Ith is actually also in this deck, and it's a great way to protect your planeswalkers, right? Like,
it is.
You kind of get that free utility land slot going, and you get to stop would-be planeswalker haters.
Yep. Speaking of white special lands, you can play Hall of Heliod's Generosity in this.
It's not in there currently, but I think maybe it should be. I think maybe it could be.
It could be.
I think I don't know if I should say should. We've got 8 enchantments, and they're backbreaking. These enchantments are winner chicken dinners, and but like if they already killed Omniscience, like it probably already did its work, but like getting back humility would be really nice. So it's probably worth it. It's just, it was really hard because I put a lot of like utility lands in here.
Yeah.
I don't want to have so many that can not tap for mana or colored mana, but I think I'm going to.
Yeah, test it out. If you don't like it, change it back to something else.
To a land that adds mana. Okay.
Right.
So up next we've got Giljoran Outpost. Yeah, all right. So
love this card.
This is one of my faves of all time. So when Giljoran Outpost comes into play, sacrifice a plains or bury Giljoran Outpost. You can tap to add white to your mana pool, or for 1 and a white, tap, put a soldier token into play, treat this token as a 1/1 white creature. So basically it just makes a bunch of chumping, blocking soldiers, right? Like that's the idea here.
Yep.
Lay the outpost, use the chump blockers. And the best part about it is like, you only make them like on an as needed basis.
Yeah.
Right. So, obviously end of turn, you can activate there if you don't have another planeswalker you want to flash in with Wrath. But like, if somebody's like, oh, well, I'm in a Wrath, you're like, yeah, okay, cool. And then like they have some other creature that was indestructible and they're going to swing at your planeswalker. Oh, great. Now I'll make it and block. Right. So basically trample is the enemy of Giljoran Outpost. But
yeah.
But other than that, like it's a pretty sweet way to protect your planeswalkers. And
I do love that card. I hope that Ken Myers will be at GP Vegas.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Get mine signed.
Oh, snap. Okay. So what else we got here? Okay, I have to talk about this next one. Okay. So this next one, I'm going to say, and you're going to be like, why is that in your deck, Ryan? It's called Winding Canyons. Okay. So
It's from Weatherlight.
it is a sweet card. It taps to add a colorless mana. So this is one of those lands where I was like, okay, doesn't add colored mana, but I'm going to run it anyway.
Yep.
For 2 and tap, until end of turn, you may play creatures cards whenever you could play instants. Right? So it gives your creatures flash. I'm only running 5 creatures.
Yeah, but still, like I can see like the use of this deck because it's like you have it in play, and say you have one of your arena rector or one of your rectors in your hand, and someone's like, "Oh, I'm attacking your planeswalker," and it's like, "Oh no, wait, I'm gonna pay basically 3 mana to do Winding Canyons." It's like, "Oh, here's a rector to block. Oh, you killed it. I'm gonna exile it and get something."
That's exactly why it's in here. And there's 2 rectors, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I really love this like magical Christmas land idea of like somebody's coming at one of my planeswalkers and I'm like, boop.
I mean, living the dream.
You know, and the thing is like, if I end up playing this deck a lot, people are going to see Winding Canyons and be like, do I even want to attack here? Because what if he goes and gets Omniscience, right? Like, so it's probably greedy, but I wanted to do it and it's my deck. So I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. So that's the land section.
I mean, greed is where it's at with the mana base.
Greed is good. All right. So the last here is the flex spots, and we're really kind of like cruising on to the end of this deck tech.
Yeah. I don't understand why Ignite the Beacon is in your flex spot. Like,
it could go in synergy. It was kind of weird because so I'll tell a little bit of a story.
Okay,
because I'm sure that's confusing.
A little bit.
So, like I said, TH the intern was helping me make the deck, right? Ooh, very mustachio.
Right.
I mustache you. Why? Ignite the Beacon is in your flex spots and not your synergy spots. So
maybe being pensive.
So TH and I were building the deck, and we got down to like 6 flex spots remaining. And I was like, we're just gonna do this like old school, like recess playground rules, and be like, we're gonna go back and forth like team captain style, and like TH, you pick a card to put in, and then I'll pick a card to put in. And so that's kind of like what happened here.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, let's fill in the last couple of slots. And I was like, like part of the, so I should also, for the listeners out there, part of the reason I made this deck is that TH only has like a couple of EDH decks and he plays with us a lot. And I wanted to build a deck with him so we could kind of have the shared experience, because it really is fun building a deck with another player.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. If you've not done it, it's really fun and you get to learn a lot about the other person. And it's just a really fun experience. But the idea here is that I could have a deck that's like TH's go-to to like borrow when he comes and plays with us. So yeah, he's like also personally invested in it because he helped me make it.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's not any swords or Vorinclex in it as well. That's pretty good.
Well, I mean, that might have been some of the ulterior motives of like, having him help. Like, here's a deck that doesn't have nasties. I mean, still kind of nasty. I mean, let's be honest. But yeah, okay. So anyway, that's why there's some weird ones here in the flex spots. But okay, so a lot of the stuff I talked about, like those enchantments and stuff, were in the flex spots. So there's just a couple I wanted to hit on that weren't part of that. So I'm finally going to get a chance to play Teferi's Protection.
Yeah.
Right? I have one and I've never cast it and I really want to. And how appropriate. This deck has a bunch of Teferis in it. And he's going to protect all the other planeswalkers, like Flavor Win.
It's pretty good.
Also super good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we also said Ignite the Beacons in here. 4 and a white for an instant. Search your library for 2 planeswalkers and put them into your hand. And like, that's super great. Like I'm definitely, I mean, the other problem, like in this deck with Wrath, you might be telegraphing a little bit there. Like if you have Wrath in play and then you cast this end of turn and you go get 2 and then you like pass the turn and don't play anything. It's like, well, we know what's coming. So I don't know how good that is. And
I think it's fine.
The other one here is Contagion Engine. And we talked about that earlier. It's just super great in it is super great in a Super Friends deck. It lets you proliferate twice, right? So super good. So yeah, so that is the deck. What do you think?
Sounds fun. I was a little disappointed we didn't get to play. I didn't get to see it like play out the other day, but
as was I. I wanted to see the Infect deck.
Yeah, but there'll be other times.
Oh, of course there will. Okay. So anyway, so summary. Like I said, I've really only played like one real game with this deck, but it did okay. It's pretty clunky. I mean, I knew it would be, but it's very clunky. It's probably going to draw a lot of ire from your play group if you decide to make it, because it rasps a bunch and maybe people don't love that so much.
As someone who doesn't play creatures, I don't care.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there you go. But what I will say is, when I built the deck and when TH and I were working on it, we're like, oh, well, we don't really need to include card draw because like a lot of the Planeswalkers' abilities are card draw, right? And that is true. They are. But they come online like so late, and a lot of times you really only get to use them once before the table just takes them out. Like that's still a thing. Like that still really happens, right? Like even in the game I was playing, it's like I have like a Narset in play and with one counter left. It's not going to do anything, and people are still like, yep, kill it. Now, to be fair, Narset has a static ability that stops him from drawing cards, so it makes sense. But the point there is just that, like, be aware that if you sit down with this deck, like, people are just going to take that value, right? Yeah. They're just going to attack a Planeswalker if they can. Like, okay, 3 damage to my opponents at 40 or kill your Planeswalker. Like, they're going to take that card advantage every time, and they probably should. So I think I need to put more card draw in this deck, and that's why I think this, oddly enough, appropriate Mystic Remora is going to go in, because that's kind of like right on theme. So
yeah.
And maybe like maybe Heuristic Study.
Yeah, I do like Heuristic Study.
So that's the plan. I need to put a little more card draw in there, and maybe a couple less Planeswalkers. 23 is probably too many.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really wanted to, like, see which ones work and see which ones don't. And the way to do that is just to put a critical mass of them in there. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So that's it. Listeners out there, audience, watchers, let us know what you thought about the deck. Like, does this seem like something you'd want to play? Does it pass the grown test? Are you like, oh, gosh, I don't want to play against this? Or, you know, just let us know what you thought about it. And also let us know what you thought about, like, the deck text in general. Was this interesting? Did you enjoy it? We'd really appreciate that feedback.
Correct. So now it is time for a segment called
Zack Gets It Together.
So this week I continued watching videos on spikeacademy.com with PVDD. R. I can't remember there's 3 Ds. I get confused. So
Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa.
So the video I watched this week was on who's the beatdown. And for those of you who don't know, it's a pretty famous Magic article written by Mike Flores. It's there's a link to it in the notes. Star City has republished it. It was on a forum site called the Dojo or something like that.
Yep, absolutely.
I remember looking at that back in the day. So
like originally published in 99 or something?
Yeah, something like that. I remember back when we were playing the wild card game, you were like, you should read this article, man. And like, what's really cool about that is I read it then, I was like, yeah, I understand. This is fine, okay. But this time I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, because I also went back and read the articles. So I was like, oh, you know, this actually makes sense. It's not like me just being like, yeah, whatever. It's like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. So
do you want to summarize like the overall like high level idea?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do next.
Aha.
So
good segue.
Exactly. So the who's the beatdown is basically when you're playing, you have to determine what your role in the game is. Are you the control or the beatdown? An example, and it can change too, based on things like your hand, who's on the play, who's on the draw, the deck list even that you're playing. You know, an example that they gave was in Modern, Humans versus Burn, right? These are both very aggressive decks, but in this instance, Burn becomes, or Humans is the beatdown because it's faster. So Burn has to take a control role.
Well, and that's kind of like the big point here, right? Which is like, there's always like, it's always one beatdown and one control.
Right.
Like always. Like even if it's 2 aggressive decks or 2 control decks, right?
Yep. Exactly. And so, you know, when Burn's forced into the control, you basically, instead of hitting them in the dome with your Burn, you know, you burn out their creatures for removal, and then you instantly win with the creatures you have in your deck, your Goblin Guides, etc., Grim Lavamancer, things like that. I'm just naming cards.
Doing it to yourself this time.
Yeah. And like they said, this is kind of a flexible concept. Like I was saying before, that it depends on a lot of things. Another example that they gave was 2 control decks, right? Both of them are mill decks from whenever, right? And they're both playing Nephelia Drownyard, which I love that card. But player 1 has Nephelia Drownyard and player 2 doesn't, right? At that point, player 2 who doesn't have it has to become the beatdown, because player 1 can just sit on that Drownyard and that's all they need to win, right? It's a static win, but you've got to, as player 2, without it, you have to become the beatdown and do the attacks and play less of a control game.
Well, and the important point here that I really kind of want to hit home, or at least I think is important, and you can let me know if this makes sense and reinforces what we're in the videos, which is people that misassign these roles. That's how you lose games.
Yeah, for sure. And it was even something like I was streaming last night some arena, which it wasn't great. I'm not gonna pretend like it was an amazing anything, but I was definitely thinking about that. It's like, well, am I the beatdown here or am I the control? And I said it a couple of times in the video. It's like, oh well, I'm obviously the beatdown here, or I'm obviously the control here, and it's pretty cool. Some things that you can also consider is who has more damage, right? Usually, if you have more damage on you, you kind of become the beatdown. Who has more removal? Usually the control deck has more removal. Who has more counter magic and card draw? That deck is almost always the control, but it doesn't have to be, right? In that situation with the Nephelia Drownyard, you could definitely have a lot of draw and a lot of control, but if they got one of those things out and you don't,
and the roles can flip on a dime.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's not always static through the game too. It can change, like you said, real quick. And what this ties into for me is, a couple of episodes ago we were talking about making a plan. You have to have a plan on how you're going to win and how to execute that plan. Well, if you don't know what role you're in, how are you going to make a plan? It's just not possible, right? I mean, you can make a plan, but it's going to be inherently flawed. So you definitely want to, and if you're the beatdown deck, you definitely want to kill the opponent faster than they can kill you. And if you're the control deck, you want to weather that early beatdown and make it to the end game where you have a lot of land and you can do a lot of things. What do you think about that, Ryan? Is that true?
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
I know you like to play control.
I do. I like to, but here's the thing, especially with limited or draft or even game of Commander, I do try to figure out my role, and it's okay, well, if and this is the way I do it. I ask myself a question. I go, if this game goes long, if it goes 10 more turns, am I going to win? Do I have inevitability, or if are they going to draw card draw, and then I'm just going to it's they're going to snowball into an advantage, and so it's I really need to pick up the pace here and not trade off my cards if I can, or even make them suffer a tempo hit, so I can keep getting in some damage. I ask myself those questions every single time I play. It's probably one of the earliest strategies that you should learn.
Agreed.
As somebody that wants to get better at Magic, because this is a great way to really put things in concrete terms. And I think that's one of the beautiful parts about this article and this idea of who's the beatdown, which is it's taking this this general idea and just really boiling it down into its very smallest essence. And I think that if you can ask yourself this question a lot more often during games and really kind of come to the right answer, you're going to start winning more.
Yeah.
You will.
I think so. And the thing is, I think too, it's, we said establishing a plan is something you should do very early on. So is, and with that, it's also determining whether you're the beatdown or the control.
It's actually probably before establishing a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, you keep going back to it. You keep thinking.
Yeah. And, back to the humans versus burn, kind of not analogy, scenario. You can make mistakes that early on if you're not doing this and just lose, right? One burn spell to your opponent's face rather than to a creature could cost you the game. So
I'll share a quick tiny anecdote before we move off this. I will say there have definitely been times where it's I realize that I'm the beatdown, and they like my opponent like uses a burn spell on my face, like especially in limited, and I'm just like, yes, like I pump the fist. I'm like, yes, that is a like one step closer to winning this game, and it happens early. It happens on like turn 1 or turn 2.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, that's one creature that they're not going to get to kill later, and that's how I'm going to win. So this is a very important lesson.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, and if you're interested in it, definitely, check out Spike Academy. Like that site seems really cool so far, and definitely read that article from Mike Flores. It's good stuff. So that is Zach gets it together for this episode. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this time with us. It definitely means a lot to us. So, thanks. Again, if you can like, subscribe, or hit the bell for other content, so you get notified when we have other content. We definitely have we're trying to do some shorter videos. We're doing my streaming arena some things like that. So definitely check it out. Again, like I said, thanks for watching, and this is Zach and Ryan saying,
Keep it social.